Alright, so here we are, Upermania Garage, working on a 1990 Toyota with a 22 RE. You can see we've taken the engine down to the head, and like we read so many times, the head bolt between the exhaust valves has sheared off on both sides. You can see the exhaust valves. Now this one I welded a nut to. It happened to stick up above the surface of the boss on the head about a half an inch. So I welded a nut to it. I actually covered the head and the cam and everything with a bunch of leather for the welding process. But now for the heating process, I am heating that welded on nut to red hot, and then after it cools just a little bit, I'm hosing it down in the area between the nut and the boss of the head. I'm hosing that down with PB Blaster really heavily, and it puts out flumes of really nasty smoke. So you'll want to be in a well-ventilated area. And who knows, we might have wrecked this head already because we're kind of silly that way sometimes. But we were trying to get this, thing loose, and you can see there's a spot here above the water pump where a manual I was looking at recommends you can put a screwdriver. Of course, a screwdriver doesn't give you much torque, so we were using a crowbar. So we have yet to see if we bent this head, but maybe we did. If we did, well, we'll grab another one from someplace. But anyway, we're learning a lot about removing really stuck bolts. This bolt is not seized into the head. It's just seized into the block. This one, on the other hand, is very much seized into the head, and if you put a breaker bar on it and give it a spin, you can feel the bolt twist. It's doing a little torsion on there, and it's not coming loose yet. So, following recommendations that I read online, I'm going to heat this thing up to cherry red and let it cool, and I'm going to PB blast it as well, and heat it again and let it cool, and PB blast it, and keep doing that until I eventually win, which would have been a better plan to start with. But anyway, we'll keep you posted, but that's the plan. Heat that thing up. Oh, and I just bent these little things out of sheet metal, some light sheet metal, just to protect the valve springs and stuff, which might be toast as well. So, but anyway, I thought I'd do a little heat shield action. So we'll see how this comes out. I'll let you know in the comments how many times I had to heat and cool this thing before it finally loosened up, if it ever does. Figured I'd film some of this too, some of this heating. I just started heating this, so it's been on there for about 10 seconds. Holding it about an inch above the top of that welded on nut. Of course, the oil in the head is gonna burn, and when it gets hot. Like I said before, we'll find out if this, if my heat shields worked or not. See what those valve springs look like when we pull them out. They might be just permanently short. Who knows? But we'll figure it out eventually, maybe. So either that, or we'll bring this engine block to the salvage yard, complete with the head seized on it. That's a possibility too, I suppose. So anyway, torch has been on there just over a minute, and it's starting to glow red here a little bit. I'm not really trying to heat this thing super fast because I want the shaft of the bolt to carry a lot of heat down inside that head. This is all, once again, based on comments I read online. So, Google is your friend. What can I say? But anyway, so I'm going to pull this torch back a little bit, and we will see how this works out. I suppose I could give my phone a set of glasses. I'll do that next time, and that way maybe you can see better what's going on. Right now it looks pretty bright, but anyway, it's been just over 2 minutes or so. The head of that bolt that I welded on is very warm, very red, and then I'll pull the torch off. You can see that in there. It's nice and shiny. Shutting off your torch with one hand is kind of a pain. Alright, you can see those heat shields are shining orange a bit. I don't know if that's going to save my cam and valve springs or not, but well, once again, like I said, we'll find out. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do after about a minute or so is hose it down with PB Blaster. I suppose I'll keep this thing running, so take a pause for a minute so you don't get too bored. Alright. Nice thing about PB Blaster is it shoots an awfully long way, which is what we want for this project. Alright. It's no longer red, but it's still good and warm. Looks like I got a little fire going on in there. Yep, not anymore. Alright. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I think heats are key here. So here we go with little PB. This ought to be fun. You'll see the cloud of smoke I'm talking about. Hopefully it's not explosive. We'll find out. I had to miss a couple times there to get my aim correct. Kind of like a tracer. So the idea is, hopefully, as this cools down, it'll suck that PB Blaster inside the head. And of course it's also going to harden that bolt a little bit. Probably, I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'll hit it a few more times as it cools down some more and try the breaker bar on it and see what it looks like. All I did since the last part was let it cool for a few minutes. Now I'm going to hit it with PB again, just a little bit. Yeah, we're cooled down to the point where it doesn't smoke anymore anyway. Alright, so I suppose might as well see what happens here. We'll video this. If I can find the breaker bar.
Is it right there on the bench? Is that it?
Oh, my bad. Alright. Sorry for the seasickness. Alright. Here we go. Give it a little crank. Wow. Might actually, maybe, be moving a little bit. Not moving this much, alright? Kind of going for the feel that's going on. At any rate, this feels like it is slightly moving, which means to me that it might have come unstuck from the head, which would be great. All right, we're gonna have to get rid of this. We're gonna have to get rid of the nut that I welded on there anyway, obviously. Whether we end up pulling the bolt out or whether we end up shearing it off, I really don't care. But we won't be able to get the head off with that bolt in place. So, kind of happy that this is moving, even if it's just a little. Still don't have a good feeling about this. But I'm going to heat it again. Spray it with PB Blaster again. Let it cool again. Heat it again. I'm going to keep doing it. I'll let you know what happens. Alright. Wow. Sorry, man. Whoa. Okay, so I told you I'd give the camera a set of glasses. So here we go. This is our next heating arrangement. But it's really hard to hold, sorry. Holding the torch about an inch and a half off the top of that nut that I welded on there. So looks like it's starting to turn a little bit orange. It's been about a minute. Getting nice and red. Hopefully we haven't burned any of our wire loom in half yet. I don't think so. Alright, well, it's been about 2 minutes, so that thing's nice and warm. We'll call this good for this cycle. Alright, that's okay, here we go. We finally got that thing loose. Alright, check out this cherry picker. Alright, here it is. This is the cherry picker of cherry pickers. Alright. Alright. This is a real cherry picker. So, we didn't want to do this, but we saw no alternative. So, finally, we hooked up the cherry picker to the exhaust manifold bolt and started cranking on it and stuck the crowbar in right in between here and here and wiggled a whole bunch. And hopefully we didn't destroy the head yet. Probably did, but well, anyway. Wow. See that stud down there? Not very pretty. But anyway, finally came loose. I guess we'll see if this comes off the rest of the way, and we could probably check it for true with a carpenter's level. I don't think we'll need a machinist's. We'll probably measure it in quarters of an inch. Anyway, here we go. Okay, so here's what they look like just after yanking the head off. You can see the corrosion is pretty heavy. And this was the loose one. Alright, this was the one that was in good condition by comparison. Now this one here we've hosed down about 80 times with Rust Buster and PB Blaster and about everything we could think of, and finally got it to the point where with the cherry picker we were able to yank it out. I gotta say, it's the first time I ever saw a cherry picker get used to pull a head, but anyway, it worked. But that's what's left. These are the two head bolts between the exhaust valves, and they are a problem. So, guess that's it. Okay, we're going to warm that block up a hair to see if we can loosen that up. So right immediately where that stud goes into the block is where Sam is heating that thing up. Now we'll see what happens. We're going to try a pipe wrench on it. That seemed to be the general consensus. Tighten her up a smidge, hey?
Yeah.
Take the wrench off there and awesome. Turn it a little bit. Just got done heating the block up. Yeah, it's coming. A pair of vice grips on there ought to do it now.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, is it pretty stiff?
Pretty tight.